started. It's April 2024, and this is World Watch, Brighton, Michigan edition.
If you watch the news or engaged in politics lately, you've definitely heard the phrase climate change. Some individuals claim the world is ending while others just bat an eye. That leaves us with the question, is climate change real?
The short answer is yes, but is it extreme, as some people say? Greta Thunberg, who is a leading climate activist, has said this: "I want you to panic, and I want you to feel the fear I feel every day."
Doesn't she fly around the world in her gas-fueled jet?
Don't pay attention to that. Anyways, who started the phrase climate change?
The term climate change was first used in 1896 by Swedish scientist Svante Arrhenius. It was used to refer to changes in the atmospheric carbon dioxide levels on the Earth's surface. Since then, the Earth's temperature has raised by 1 degree Celsius.
So it turns out climate change does in fact exist, but not to the extreme that some people say.
You know climate change isn't real. Oh no it is. Show me. Look, I'm warming this globe.
Have you run in a race before?
Yes, I did track when I was little.
Well, have you heard of the space race?
Most people think that the space race was just the United States and the Soviet Union racing to see who could get to the moon first, but there was so much more about it.
In 1957, the world's first artificial satellite, Sputnik 1, was launched by the Soviet Union, catching the United States off guard and marking the beginning of the space race.
Due to America's success of getting the first person on the moon, most people overlook the fact that actually the Soviet Union were the first people to ever get a man, a woman, and a dog into space.
Apollo 11 was the first mission to successfully land a human on the moon, sent by John F. Kennedy. The space race lasted from the late 1950s to the mid-1970s.
Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin were the first people to ever set foot on the moon. They spent 21 hours and 36 minutes on the moon's surface.
The Soviet Union's first rocket launch with the N-1 moon booster failed when the rocket exploded and killed 91 people. However, the Soviet Union did not have the resources because of some financial problems, so they could not make a rocket advanced enough to get to the moon.
On July 16, 1969, at 9:32 a.m., Apollo 11 was launched. The Apollo 11 mission took 4 days, 6 hours, and 45 minutes to reach the moon.
On July 20th, 1969, Apollo 11 was successfully landed on the moon,
making the U.S. the first people to ever land on the moon. It was one of the greatest accomplishments in United States history. Yeah!
Hey Sawyer, do you know oxygen?
Yeah, why?
Space has no oxygen.
Really? Well, that makes you pretty lightheaded.
We recently discovered new planets out there that could sustain life and could be habitable. In 1999, the red dwarf star known as TRAPPIST-1 was discovered by John Gizzitz. The name TRAPPIST means star system that orbit other stars. At first, there seemed to be only 3 planets. Then in 2017, NASA's Spitzer telescope saw 4 more worlds. 2 of these worlds had conditions similar to Earth that they could possibly contain life as we know it.
The TRAPPIST system is only 40 light years away. This sounds close, but it really equals about 600,000 Earth years. We probably won't be visiting it anytime soon. TRAPPIST-1d, the 4th planet from the Sun, its sun, has conditions right for water, a temperature similar to Earth, and gravity that is a combination of Earth and Mars. The James Webb Telescope, launched in 2021, is heading towards the TRAPPIST-1 system. Looking closely at this group of 7 planets, and especially planet 1d, is one of the telescope's first targets. Perhaps it will video something waving hello.
Hey, I have a joke about a black hole, but it sucks.
That's pretty good.
Breaking news, Australian scientists say that they have found one of the biggest black holes in history. This black hole is about to eat 1 sun per day. It is 17 billion times larger than the mass of the sun.
Rachel Webster is a collaborator on the black hole study in the Australian National University. We talked with her about the massive black hole and hear what she had to say. Rachel Webster said that the black hole is 17 billion times larger than the Earth's sun. That's pretty big, am I right?
This black hole eats about 1 sun per day and is one of the fastest growing black holes ever reported. Rachel Webster said to us that this black hole is just one of the many giants of this universe and will keep growing and moving and will never stop growing. Rachel also told us that this black hole is outdated because of how light travels across the universe, and that how it could look now could be fathomably big than it could be in another 100,000 years.
When we interviewed Rachel, we asked her if this black hole was dangerous to us. She said that this black hole is not dangerous at all. It would take trillions of years by that time, or humanity would be gone.
Now let's move on to the next segment.
Welcome to Oh, he fell in a black hole.
Speaking of space and black holes, next up we got solar eclipse.
Have you ever seen a solar eclipse? On April 8th, 2024, a total solar eclipse occurred. Maybe you were one of those watching this spectacular display of God's creation. But what exactly is a solar eclipse? Well, in order to explain, let's give you a little background.
There are actually 2 solar eclipses per year. There will actually be 5 in 2024, but only 2 of them will be solar eclipse. Delta Airlines in April were offering plane rides on the day and time of the eclipse. Arguably the most famous solar eclipse was one that coincided with the death of King Henry I in 1133 AD. Chaos and civil war followed. However, an eclipse in Turkey in 585 BC had the opposite effect. Warring armies took it as a sign from the gods that perhaps they should try and get along.
Here's a little bit of the science behind the solar eclipse. A solar eclipse occurs when the moon passes between the sun and the earth. If it only covers part of the sun, it is called a partial solar eclipse. But when it covers all of the sun's light, it is called a total solar eclipse. As the moon travels, blocking the sun's light, it will cast a shadow on Earth. This creates a trail called the path of totality. The path of totality shows who will experience the darkness caused by a solar eclipse. When a total solar eclipse occurs, it reveals the corona of the sun. The corona is the outer part of the sun, which is usually hard to see with all the other light coming from the sun. But when the moon covers the sun, the only light you can see is coming from the corona.
And if you did happen to miss the solar eclipse in April, there's an annual solar eclipse on October 2nd, 2024. So grab your light bags, solar filters, and see if this one is near you.
Hey Luke, have you ever wondered why thunder claps?
I have no idea.
Let's find out.
What was that? Why does thunder boom like that? Lightning! Okay, now that we said that there's a direct relation between lightning and thunder, but what is it?
The path reaches temperatures of around 50,000 degrees Fahrenheit. This extreme heat creates the booming thunderclap as excessive pressure within the lightning path expands at supersonic rates on return strokes.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So without lightning, there's no thunder. But when the lightning strikes, sometimes it takes a long time for the thunder to reach our ears. Why can't we hear the thunder a split second after we see the lightning?
The initial thunder that you hear comes from the point on the lightning channel closest to you. The last sound comes from the most distant point. It takes about 5 seconds for thunder to travel 1 mile.
So even if they did occur at the same time, we will always see the lightning before hearing the thunder. That's silly lightning. It's always booming.
Today's video is sponsored by
Chick-fil-A.
Man, all this talk is making me hungry. I wish I could eat.
Well, I know a place.
Why did the chicken cross the road?
I don't know why.
To get to the Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A was invented by Chuck Cathy in 1946 and has been thriving ever since. Chick-fil-A is a great place to find great food, service, and Christ-focused environment at Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A is a great place to work with many benefits. Going to Chick-fil-A is a great idea, but remember, never go on a Sunday.
Coming up next on World Watch. And now we have how wings create lift.
I hope that doesn't go over our heads.
Have you ever wondered how the wings of a plane make the entire plane fly? Well, in this segment, we'll show you how. Before we get into describing the wing, let's talk about some history behind it. Daniel Bernoulli, not me, but the other Daniel, was a physicist and mathematician in the 1700s who studied the movement of air and water. He discovered that faster moving air and water has lower pressure, while slower moving air and water causes higher air pressure. This is what is known as Bernoulli's principle.
Next, let's look at how the wing is shaped. As the plane moves forward, the top of the wing has low pressure because of the curve, and the bottom of the wing has high pressure because it is flat, which causes it to lift. The difference of pressure comes from the shape of the wing. The wings are tilted to assist the pressure. And that's how the wings of the plane make the entire plane fly.
Now let's migrate over to Olivia and Amelia, who are going to tell you about animal migration.
Hello, good morning.
My name's Amelia Ditchfield.
And my name's Olivia Jarrett.
And we come to you from this newscast to talk about migration.
From birds to insects to mammals or to marine creatures, certain animals are known for their instinct of migration. But what even is migration? How does it work and why is it important?
Well, migration is the seasonal movement of animals from one region to another. Using the Earth's magnetic field, some animals are able to navigate by knowing where the Earth's poles are, while others use their sense of smell. Change in weather or the quantity of food are also common signals for animals to know where and when to migrate.
Yes, all migrating animals use their instincts and these natural cues to go where they need to, and reasons for these migrations vary. Common reasons include searching for availability of food and water, breeding grounds, and seasonal weather. Animals such as African elephants, manta rays, blue whales, caribou, and monarch butterflies are all common migrators.
All around the globe, from the grasslands of Africa to the Arctic regions or even to the oceans, animals migrate for these reasons.
In conclusion, animals of different species, biomes, and parts of the world migrate for different reasons such as these. But as of more recent times, animals' migrations are being disrupted by human activity.
The Chinook salmon, known for their amazing ocean and riverbed migrations, are at danger because of dams and other construction dealing with rivers that block their paths. Ways to solve these problems is to control the amount of construction along these paths and to create fish ladders, which allow the salmon to pass through dams successfully.
So, let's all appreciate and respect animals' amazing migrations.
And let's also help to raise awareness against these human invasions of their routes. Thank you so much for joining us today.
And we hope that this informed you more on migration.
And the next topic we have for you is the dog paw shoe sole.
This topic sure is awesome! Have you ever heard of the herringbone pattern?
Oh yeah, that's the zigzag lines on the bottom of my shoe, right?
Actually, it's a little more than just that. In 1935, an inventor named Paul Sperry had a hobby of sailing off the shore of New England. But whenever the boat deck became wet, he would slip around and fall.
Noticing his Cocker Spaniel would remain standing even when the deck was slippery, he decided to try to mimic his paw on a shoe sole.
Sperry began experimenting with different shoe soles and soon found that by cutting a zigzag pattern into thick sheets of rubber to use for shoe soles, walking without slipping was much easier.
This was because the grooves let the shoe sole slightly deform and grasp the ground, providing traction. And when it was raining or wet, the grooves channeled water outward, redirecting the water from beneath the shoe.
Sperry then went on to fabricate the world's first non-skid deck shoes called Sperry Topsiders. They were rapid success for the sailors and are currently still manufactured today in a style called the Authentic Original.
Groove soles on sports shoes are now a worldwide requirement. Additionally, the herringbone pattern helped develop tire tracks for winter weather, and without them, there will be a lot more accidents.
And up next, we have Rene Descartes.
I wonder what he's been plotting.
Have you ever heard the term cogito ergo sum? That's Latin for the phrase I think therefore I am, spoken by French mathematician, scientist, and philosopher Rene Descartes, who is considered to be the founding father of modern philosophy.
While Descartes had many theories and ideas about the world, including his theory on methods of doubt and his layout of the groundwork for analytic geometry, this philosophy is his most famous.
The premise of this theory, I think therefore I am, is that because he believes in his own existence, he finds it impossible to doubt that he exists. He states that even if there were some deceiving god or evil demon, one's belief in their existence would be secure, for there is no way that you could be deceived unless one existed to be deceived.
Descartes lived in the 1600s, but his imprint on society still stands today in philosophy, in math, and in science.
Hey, do you want to see a couple boys talking about virtual reality?
Heck yeah!
This is a popular new device called virtual reality, which has many important engineering uses.
Virtual reality has many incredible advantages, from providing a safe and calming environment for healthcare patients to enabling workers to learn their jobs safely and effectively.
VR can be used for many amazing purposes, including engineering applications such as virtual simulations for training, interactive education, virtual tours of facilities or dangerous areas.
Virtual reality can be used as a tool to enable people anywhere to have the freedom and flexibility to create various types of environments and experiences to their own personal benefit.
VR is a creative and unique way to provide workers, parents, children, and teachers with a safe and effective learning environment that is easily accessible and simple to use.
Overall, virtuality has many advantages and can be used to benefit people around the world.
Up next, we have the presidential election.
If I had a dime for every speech Biden messed up, I'd be rich.
Who should I vote for the mayor of Happyville? Decisions.
Vote for me. I'll lower your taxes, lower inflation, and build up our economy.
Yo, Sai, you should vote for me. Higher taxes, more potholes, and more killers on the loose. Totally me, dude.
Yeah.
Right now, Donald Trump is the presumptive nominee for the Republican primaries because he has won enough delegates to win the nomination. President Joe Biden is the presumptive nominee of the Democratic Party because he's also won enough delegates to win the nomination.
A poll done by CBS News that asked how other people would rate the presidencies of Donald Trump and Joe Biden asked if the presidency of Donald Trump was excellent, good, fair, or poor. 46% said excellent or good, and 53% said fair or poor. When asked about Joe Biden, only 33% said excellent or good, and 57% said fair or poor. People were also asked about the economies of Joe Biden and Donald Trump. When asked about Donald Trump, 65% of the people said that the economy was good, and 28% said that it was bad. And when asked about Joe Biden, only 38% said it was good, and 59% said it was bad. And another poll done by New Siena College, released by the New York Times, revealed that an overwhelming majority of 73% of Americans think that Joe Biden is too old to be an effective president. That includes 61% of his original 2020 voters. Trump is around 4 years younger than Biden and is outperforming him in the age question, as a 55% majority in the poll says he's not too old like Biden.
That's the Lord's chicken, you're right. It's good chicken too.
We have now told you about the two candidates that will go head-to-head in the presidential election. In November, we will see who will serve as the next president of the United States.
This is Kern Homeschooling, right in Michigan.
This is